If you do not wish to participate, then I will take that as a refusal.
What does that even mean?
So that means you're refusing to participate in this exercise.
And then what?
Then
go to jail?
Then a decision for your arrest will have to be made with the information that I have.
On April 7th, 2023, a Flagler County Sheriff's Deputy in Northeast Florida conducted a DUI investigation that offers a near-textbook study of constitutional procedure, probable cause aggregation, and de-escalation discipline. The legal framework begins with the Fourth Amendment. Under Wen v. United States, decided in 1996, any observed traffic violation provides an objectively reasonable basis for a vehicle stop, regardless of subjective motive. A driver clocked at 65 miles per hour in a 45 zone satisfies that threshold as a matter of law. Extension of the stop into a DUI investigation, however, requires additional reasonable suspicion of impairment, under the Supreme Court's decision in Terry v. Ohio, decided in 1968. Here, the deputy assembled the classic observational triad odor of alcohol, slurred speech, and an admission to recent drinking, supplemented by a delayed pullover response. That combination clears the reasonable suspicion bar comfortably.
So what I have was I got her for 65 and a 45. She took a while to stop after I turned my lights on. She actually kept on going 65 until right about here when I finally caught up to her. And then when she pulled into the left lane, she was like very, very, very slow until I got on the loudspeaker and told her to actually stop the vehicle. Said that she came from, first she didn't know which bar she came from, then she said hooligans, then she advised 2 drinks half an hour prior to leaving 10 minutes prior. So I'm going to pull out for SSFEs after I locate my tape.
Okay.
Alright, Danielle, first things first, I'm going to ask you to put this away because this belongs to your friend. I'll also have to ask you to shut off the vehicle and step out and speak to me. Alright, so real quick, you know, it is a bit of a concern when you're telling us that you were over at the bar.
I know.
And then, of course, I can smell the alcohol on your breath. You're a little bit slow. And you kept on driving. I'm sure I pulled up behind you. I had to tell you to stop over the loudspeaker. So at this time, I do have to reach you something real quick before I proceed any further. Now, just because I read this doesn't mean you're in trouble or anything. It's just a formality that I have to do.
Alright.
Again, I'm Deputy Wynn, badge number 875. I have to ask you specifics for possibly drinking and driving. These are your rights. You have the right to remain silent, and anything you say may be used as evidence against you. You have the right to talk to an attorney and have him or her with you now or at any time during questioning. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you. If at any time you wish to stop talking or have an attorney present, all questioning will be stopped at your request. Do you understand these rights? Again, just a formality so I can talk to you further in regards to this. So, what did you have to drink over at Hooligans?
I had a couple glasses of wine.
Okay. Do you normally go to Hooligans?
No, never. But my kids were kidnapped from me.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Back in January. And I don't even know what to do at this point.
Understood.
They were kidnapping from my ex-husband.
So you had a little bit of a child custody issue with you and your kids?
Was, yeah.
Alright.
And I'm just like trying to get through it, and then Sunday is Easter. I've never been without them on Easter. Never ever have I been without them on Easter.
Understood. Well, again, this is still a big concern of us, so would you be willing to participate in field sobriety exercises?
I mean, sure, I don't know if I'll pass it, but, you know.
I got you.
I just...
Alright, well, let's head on over here and get this out of the way, alright? I'm gonna just lay down a piece of tape right here. If you wouldn't mind, just lay it right there.
I'm a teacher, and like I don't want anybody to see me.
Where do you teach at? Yeah. Danielle, where do you teach at? The one next to.
We moved over there to the nail.
Gotcha. Alright. Well, this shouldn't take too long then.
Oh, hold on. Put it down. Because you got a tear. Go ahead.
Alright, Danielle. If you wouldn't mind, let's go ahead and move up to the road. Now, what I need you to
It's a little
do,
bit scary.
that's why we're in between two cop cars. Hopefully nobody runs into us.
Okay.
So I need you to stand with your feet together, hands by your sides, like this. Alright. Do you wear any glasses or contacts? Okay. Put your feet together, hands at your side, keep your head still, and look and follow my fingertip with your eyes and your eyes only. Keep looking at my fingertip until I tell you this is over. Do not move your head. Do you understand the instructions?
Keep looking at your fingertips.
Alright. You may relax. Next thing I'm going to do is give you instructions for what's called the walk-in turn. So this is what I need you to do. Put your left foot right up here on the line. Go ahead and put your left foot on the line. Place your right foot on the line ahead of your left, with the heel of your right foot against the toe of your left.
Oh my God. Like
And keep your hands at your side. Do you have any kind of fake limbs, any kind of medical issue that I should be aware of before we begin?
No.
Okay. Do not start until I tell you to do so. Do you understand? When I tell you to begin, you'll take 9 heel-to-toe steps on the line. They'll look like this. 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. To turn around, keep 1 foot on the line and make smaller turning circles.
After 9, you want me to turn around? Okay.
To turn around, keep 1 foot on the line and take 9 return steps. Can you return to the starting position, please? Keep your arms at your side at all times. Watch your feet and count each step out loud. Once walking begins, do not stop until you have completed the test. Do you understand the instructions? Danielle, do you understand the instructions?
I don't want to do this.
I understand, Danielle. Just be advised that if you refuse to take the SSFEs, the field sobriety, then a decision to arrest you may have to be made with what I have so far. Do you understand?
Okay.
Alright. You may begin.
I don't even remember what you said just now. I'm just crying.
No worries. Have you done a DUI before? Do you want him to take a DUI? That's fine. Alright, I'm going to start from the beginning, okay? Place your left foot on the line. Place your right foot on the line ahead of your left.
Okay.
With the heel of your right foot against the toe of your left. Keep your arms at your side, like this. Do not start until I tell you to do so. Do you understand?
Yes.
When I tell you to begin, take 9 heel-to-toe steps on the line. It'll look like this. 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. When you get to number 9, to turn around, keep your left foot on the line. Take several steps to turn around. When you turn on the 9th step, keep your front foot on the line. Take several small steps with the other foot. Take 9 heel-to-toe steps back down the line. So 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. Do you understand? Do you understand? Okay. You may begin. Alright, go and relax. The next exercise we're going to do is called the one-leg stand. So what you'll do for this is stand with your feet together, arms at your side. Alright? Stay like that until I tell you to otherwise. When I tell you to...
Listen, I'm not a bad person. Like,
I understand.
I don't know what to tell you guys. My kids were kidnapped away from me, and I just don't know what to do anymore. Like,
I understand, Danielle. That's not why we're here tonight. Alright? So I need you to stand with your feet and your arms at your side. Maintain this position until you are told otherwise. When I tell you to, I want you to raise one leg, either leg, approximately 6 inches off the ground, height of a Coke can. Foot pointed out, both legs straight, look at your elevated foot, count out loud in the following manner, such as this: 1001, 1002, 1003, and so on until I tell you to stop. Do you understand the instructions? You may begin.
1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. Like, I can't even do that if I'm not drinking. Like, I can't even do that.
Since being unable to perform and complete the tests, the sheriff's deputy was forced to make a decision.
If you do not wish to participate, then I will take that as a refusal.
What does that even mean?
So that means you are refusing to participate in this exercise.
And then what?
Then
I go to jail?
Then a decision for your arrest will have to be made with the information that I have.
I'm not a bad person. I just want to go home. Like, my kids were taken away from me, like, over 2 months ago. And I don't even know what to do anymore at this point. Like, I can't even get them back.
I understand, but that's going to be a matter that will have to be solved in civil courts.
I
Understand?
know that. I have a lawyer, I have all this stuff, but sometimes I just have to, like, get away from, like freaking space.
I understand that, Danielle. There's a reason why we're here at the side of the road.
You don't understand. You don't know. Do you have kids? Imagine if your kids were taken away from you.
Imagine at 65 miles an hour you run into a kid and end their life instantly. Then their kids are taken away from their parents permanently. At this
That would
time,
never happen.
you are placed under arrest. Turn around, place your hands behind your back.
The most legally interesting decision in the encounter is the deputy's choice to administer Miranda warnings at the roadside. Under Berkemer versus McCarty, decided in 1984, the Supreme Court held that ordinary roadside questioning during a routine traffic stop is not custodial interrogation for Fifth Amendment purposes. The court reasoned that traffic stops are typically brief, public, and structurally analogous to a Terry stop, not to a station house interrogation. Miranda warnings, therefore, are not constitutionally required at the roadside until the suspect is formally arrested or subjected to treatment functionally equivalent to formal arrest. The deputy's prophylactic delivery of warnings exceeds the constitutional floor. This is not a defect, it is a defensive practice. By warning the subject before any sustained DUI questioning, the deputy forecloses any later motion to suppress on Miranda grounds, regardless of how a reviewing court characterizes the custody question. The order to exit the vehicle rests on Pennsylvania versus Mimms, decided in 1977. Mimms holds that an officer who has lawfully stopped a vehicle may order the driver to exit as a matter of officer safety without any additional individualized justification. Field sobriety exercises occupy a distinct legal category under Florida law, and they are voluntary. Florida's implied consent statute, Section 316.1932, governs only chemical testing of breath, blood, or urine following a lawful arrest. It does not govern roadside exercises. Officers are not required to advise drivers that the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration battery is voluntary, but a driver's refusal can be considered by the officer in establishing probable cause and by the state at trial. The deputy's advisement that refusal could result in arrest based on the information already gathered is legally accurate and non-coercive. It discloses a legal consequence rather than threatening an unlawful one. The probable cause analysis is the central legal question. Under Graham versus Connor, decided in 1989, police conduct is judged from the perspective of a reasonable officer on the scene, on the totality of the circumstances, and not with 20/20 hindsight. At the moment of arrest, the deputy possessed an observed traffic violation, a delayed stop response, the impairment triad, observable performance issues across 2 field sobriety exercises, and a partial refusal on the third. That aggregate is well in excess of probable cause for a Florida DUI arrest. The charging decision falls under Florida Statute Section 316.193, subsection 4, the enhancement provision applicable when a blood or breath alcohol level is 0.15 or higher. For a first conviction at this enhanced level, the statute imposes a mandatory minimum fine of $1,000 to $2,000, up to 9 months imprisonment, and the mandatory installation of an ignition interlock device for at least 6 continuous months. Under Florida law, a DUI charged at the enhanced level cannot be plea bargained down to reckless driving by statute, which significantly narrows the defense's negotiating posture. On the grading, the deputy receives an A-. His articulation of reasonable suspicion, prophylactic Miranda delivery, NHTSA-compliant test administration, clear refusal advisement, and consistently calm verbal posture meet the professional standard. The single deduction is for one rhetorically aggressive moment near the arrest declaration that strayed from neutral investigative tone. The subject receives a C. Total physical compliance and non-resistance are credit items, but extensive voluntary self-incrimination, failure to invoke counsel after Miranda, and the underlying impaired driving conduct itself control the analysis. The department receives a B+ for visible training and policy compliance. A higher mark would require independent review of the agency's internal de-escalation and DUI policy manuals. A few practical lessons emerge from this footage. First, field sobriety exercises in Florida are voluntary, and a polite refusal carries no automatic license penalty, unlike the post-arrest chemical test, which is governed by implied consent. Second, after Miranda warnings are given, silence is a constitutional right, and emotional disclosures are not. Sympathetic personal context does not negate any element of a strict liability impairment statute, and it can reinforce probable cause. Third, for officers, prophylactic Miranda and contemporaneous on-camera articulation of reasonable suspicion remain the 2 highest leverage practices for protecting a DUI case at the suppression stage. Fourth, neutral investigative language outperforms moral framing. Probable cause speaks for itself. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic that you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching today's video. If you found this content informative or compelling, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you'll be the first to know when we release new uploads. Our channel is dedicated to bringing you the most fascinating police interactions, courtroom proceedings, and real-world legal moments. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you in the next one.